Wow, keep playing that. When you hear that kind of song, it just gets your energy flowing in the right direction. Finally, I'm unbreakable. Test me. Don't you want to get to that point in your life where you say, finally, I'm unbreakable. I've seen it all. Come on, test me. I'm unbreakable. Finally, unbreakable. From this moment on, I'm unbreakable. And that's where we come to be. In this moment, we come to realize that all the things that came before now were preparation for the prosperity of the moment. Prosperity, spiritually, mentally, physically, financially. We're prepared to be unbreakable. Renaissance Union, all is well and all is in divine order. I had a chance yesterday to celebrate with our LGBTQ community. And it's Pride Month. I want to recognize the individuals in our community that we hold sacred. We love you, and we celebrate with you. May we all stand. The invitation to stand. And just repeat after me. Say, it's all energy. It's all energy. It's all energy. I swear to God that I am open. I am receptive. I am available to receive a greater demonstration of peace. So help me God. Experience greater peace. Thank you. You may be seated. You do have the option of standing up throughout my message. But I want to ask you a question. At this point in your life, are you experiencing inner peace? Come on. Some people say, sometimes, every now and then, I have some days. Can't always recognize it. Sometimes, yes. More than not. Inner peace. Are you experiencing true inner peace? Will peace be still for you and you hold fast to it? It seems like the pandemic, the economic turnaround, political unrest, gas prices, a continuous flow of mass shooting, gun control debate, the war on Ukraine, and closer to home, people battling with health issues, battling for their life, people aging, and unexpected deaths. The unexpected arrives just in the nick of time to surprise you and to disturb your peace. And with it, it marshals in pressures, pains, and problems. And it has us balancing the uncertainty all the time. The New York Times did a survey of American adults. 75% of adults said they experienced a sense of uncertainty, of insecurity, and pessimism has replaced optimism as the order of the day. Isn't that sad? And so many of us seem to be walking a tightrope, trying to balance ourselves on this tightrope while we battle with our very own Goliaths, our giants. What Goliath are you battling at this very moment? It's a private matter. But call it forward right now. Let's take the next couple of minutes and deal with it and discover that I think we can have peace. Peace in the midst of the storm. That Goliath that we fight every day, it's the thing that we don't talk about. We dare to tell anyone that we're less than the person that we want to be. Never want to admit to it. And all we want is for God to show up and show us the way to peace. That's all I want. Whenever I have the pressures, the problems, the pains of life, all I want is for God to show up and let me know that you're real and that you're present and you're ready to get me off the tightrope. Because I'm balancing things, elements that I don't know if I can handle and stay on that rope, that tightrope, too much longer. Can anybody relate to me? This is my story. But perhaps it's your story. Maybe it's relatable to you. Maybe, just maybe it is. In the midst of life's ups and downs, acceptance and rejections, healthy days and sick days, and unpredictable experiences, all I want is for God to take away my detachment to distractions. My detachment to distractions is all I want. Because I'm so attached to those distractions, those things that take me off the road to peace, that I think they're real. And I think they're going to plague me, bother me for the rest of my life, for eternity. At that moment, that very moment, when the crisis has me at the point of crying, that's when I want God to just simply show up and help me get off that tightrope. Can we get off that tightrope this morning? Can we make a real commitment to say, I want to get off that tightrope and move forward? And then I say to myself, well, can I just turn my pressures, my problems, my pain over to God? Can I just simply say a prayer and turn it over to God? Or what about turning it over to Jesus? Isn't Jesus the Prince of Peace? Isn't he? I thought on Christmas Eve and on Christmas Day, we were celebrating the arrival of Jesus. Remember that? For unto us a child is born, and his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, and Prince of Peace. Y'all remember that? We probably were together. The Prince of Peace. So can I just say a prayer? Can I just meditate and turn my pressures, my pain, my problems over to the Prince of Peace? That's all I want to do. And move out the way. God's got this. God's got this. But Reverend Wilma told me there's a co-creation process. So I can't just take myself out of the equation. But I'm so bothered by how my experiences in life don't add up to my expectations. When my experiences and my expectations don't add up, I get to the point of disappointment, despair, disillusionment. You ever been there? Where you have these expectations and then the experience is much different. I thought I'd be at this point in my life. I thought I'd have at this point in my life. I never thought I'd go through this at this point in my life. Anybody ever had to utter those words? Anybody ever had to express your feelings, your innermost feelings? All we seek is peace. As I look back over the course of my life, I got caught up. I got caught up in the pursuit of happiness based on the things that the world prescribed to me that would bring me happiness. I mean, most often when somebody gives me a prescription, I'm very staunch about getting it filled, getting it done. Just tell me the 7 steps to success, Dr. Leslie. 10 steps to a better life. 5 steps to get in the car you want. 2 steps to get in the house that you want. 3 steps to get the woman that you want. That's all I want. All I want is steps. But in the pursuit of happiness, did we lose our ability to have peace? In the pursuit of happiness, did we lose the ability to have peace? This may sound crazy, but when we decided to focus on inner peace for today's message, I had to give some thought about peace. Think about that. We said we're going to focus today's message on inner peace. And so I had to think about peace. Inner peace. And it took me down places that I didn't want to go. Because to feel peace, there has to be a place where I didn't feel peace. You can't know what's right until you know what's wrong. Right? It's like going to church as a little kid. I used to know all the scriptures. I read the Bible, but it didn't mean anything. It didn't mean anything. And then I grew up and threw away childish things and toys. And all of a sudden, life started hitting me with belly blows, body blows. And all of a sudden, it was the wake-up call to know what didn't feel like peace and for me to seek peace. Anybody been there before? You know what peace doesn't feel like. You know what peace is not. And so it's got to be the opposite, right? And so then I thought about it. And I want to be honest with you. For many years, I thought the thieves of my peace were people and places in the fast-paced schedule that I had. Imagine that. Isn't that the purpose? Alibi? People are the problem. The places I go are the problems. My tight schedule is the problem. But it's kind of funny that in the pursuit of happiness, you know what I did? I prayed for it. I meditated. I manifested those people, those places, that tight schedule. I asked for those things. And now I look. It says, nothing to do with you, Leah. I love you dearly. But you make me sick. Have you ever said that to someone who you brought into your life? You gave an open invitation. You sometimes called it love. And then you turn back to them and you say, you make me sick. I can't stand to see you. Give it back. Give her back. Give him back. Too late. You asked for it. You dreamed about it. You manifested it. You gave it permission to come into your life. Think about it. The things that we requested from that unhealthy place now makes us feel stressed. It makes us feel unhappy. And it makes us sick. Think about what you have. Some of the people. Some of the places that you have to go. Some of the debt that you're in. I remember my first brand new car. I loved it. I drove it off the lot, Nissan Sentra. 1999. It's kind of silver like this suit. Drove it off the lot, and all of a sudden, 31 days later, I'll never forget, Brett. Car note. And this went on for month after month after month. The new car smell was gone. Repairs were necessary. And I looked at that car and said, you make me sick. It's the story of our life, isn't it? We want it. We manifest it. We want to move away from it. We want it. We manifest it. And we want to move away from it. Like make up to break up. Remember that old song? Make up to break up. That's all we do. First you love me, then you hate me. It's a game for fools. And that's what we get tied up to, don't we? I'm going to enroll in some singing lessons. Masterminded. But if we go back to Isaiah 9:6. Isaiah 9:6. And you'll notice what God did not call Jesus. Yes, he called him the Prince of Peace, but God didn't call him the Prince of Convenience, the Prince of Ease, the Prince of Comfort, the Prince of your will and your preferences. See, our problem is that when God promises us peace, peace be unto you, what we hear in our wishful thinking is a translation that God is promising us convenience, ease in our very own wishing well to manifest our preferences, the things that we prefer. Can I share something with you? The reason we struggle to have peace, see, I know in that pursuit of happiness, you pray, you meditate, you have a vision board. You belong to a mastermind group. But in the pursuit of happiness, we still want peace. Say it. I want peace. I want peace. See, I've been awakened to realize that the thieves of our peace, it's not the other people. It's not the places. It's not the pace of our lives. It's not the pressures. It's not the pains. It's not the problems. Here's my problem, and maybe it's yours too. I am the enemy of my peace. I distract myself away from peace. I am the enemy of my peace because my consciousness and unconscious insistence on the perfection of having everything my way. It's the Burger King mentality. Have it your way. And we got into that mode, that mannerism. My way. My way. Make it fast. Make it supersized. My way. And I sometimes become addicted to having things my way. Anybody like me? I'm addicted to it. I want it my way. And I go to great lengths to shape and mold things my way. People, do it my way. That's what we do, don't it? How many in here are parents? How many people are parents? Or aunties. Raise your hand because you're all in their life. It's a good thing. It's a good thing, baby. But I would venture to say, if you are a parent, that 50% of your stress in life comes from wanting to have their life your way. A couple of people admit to it. But it is. It is what it is. And when we find ourselves playing Uber, Lyft, cab driver, it's because we want better for them. Better that the vision comes from us. Better is when it comes from us, the vision that we have for their future. And we get all stressed out when they want something different. They want to be their own person, their own man, their own woman. And we get disturbed by it. I was reading The Science of Mind. And it talks about how the problem of most people is that early in life, they were trying to get something, to manifest something, to wish on something, and they didn't get it. And in that moment, it was a traumatic experience beyond anything else that may have caused trauma, abuse, neglect. Just simply not getting what you wanted at an early age makes you come into the realization of the question, is life receptive to the things that I want? Does God hear me, hear my wishes, my cries? Say this with me. Trauma relief is peace. Trauma relief is peace. So how do we get to this point of inner peace? You go inside to the inner chamber. See, the inner chamber is the place within us. It's the place where we meet Christ, God. It's a connection point, the holy place of holies. It's the Father in me, the kingdom of God, the secret place of the Most High. All those things that we hear. It's the inner chamber, a secret place that no one can have access to but you. But sometimes, even we struggle to get into that secret place, that inner chamber of ourselves, because we block the door with so many things, so many issues, so much junk in our mind, in our body, and in our spirit. It's not what we eat. It's what we digest that matters. It's not what we eat that matters. It's what we digest. America has a multi-billion-dollar colon cleanse, liver cleanse industry. Probiotics, prebiotics, all designed to get out the toxic things from your body. But your mind and your spirit also need something to get out the toxicity. And so I ask you, do you have a good elimination system? Do you have a good elimination system? Some way of making sure that those things that take away your peace are moved from you, filtered away. Do you have that inner peace? In that pursuit of inner peace, in spite of what the door of your heart, your mind, your spirit, your body has allowed in, it's time to become intentionally radical. Intentionally radical. What does that mean? That reminds every day I show up with the very intent of refusing to identify with the identities of the world. I refuse to identify with the identities of the world. Have you ever heard someone say, there's more to me than meets the eye? Have you ever said that about yourself? There's more to me than meets the eye. That's what we need to start saying. There's more to me than meets the eye. Say, I'm more than my past. I'm more than my past traumas. I'm more than meets the eye. This consciousness of self will never again allow us to hide, to slow up, to play small. It rises within us and tells us that we can do, we can be, we can have anything that we want. And so this morning, I'm offering you peace from all those things, all those people, all those pressures, those pains, those problems that make you feel smaller than you are, less than you are, not enough, never enough. And all the stories that you hear about you never will. Those past things are taking up space within you. And that space needs to be cleared out. You need an elimination system. Something that's guaranteed. Something that will lead you on that path of peace forever. It's elimination time. And that means it's elevation time. And that means it's revelation time. Everything really is in divine order. I have come to know that the pressures, the pains, the problems are there to call us out. I don't know if you've ever been called out, but sometimes people will just call you out. Call you on the carpet and begin to ask you questions that make you reflect. I remember when the devil got in God's face and said, those people are not loyal to you. And he said, my servant Job is. And he said, let's test Job. Let's test him. And see, can he find peace in the middle of the storm? He's so loyal. Let's see. Let's test your great servant, Job. Have you ever thought about squeezing an orange and wondering, when you squeeze that orange, will you get lemonade? If I squeeze an orange, will I get lemonade? Hey, listen to me. Your pressures, your problems, your pains, it's just an authentication process. An authentication process. Are you who you say you are? Do you practice what you say you believe? Authentication. If I squeeze you, if I put you between a rock and a hard place, if I take you through a multiple authentication process, will you come out? Will you come out and still have peace? Because your life is based on the principles. I am one with the Almighty Christ. I've taken all the principles, the demonstrations of the Prince of Peace, and now I'm practicing them. So the challenge is always to remember, to seek, to find, to go into the inner chamber, that inner chamber where there's peace through an intimacy-based identity with Christ. Intimacy-based relationship with Christ. And that relationship should be one with a high degree of intimacy. That every day you wake up confident that you can answer 3 questions in the middle of a storm. Is God good? Is God good to me? Do I trust God to be God? Is God good to me? Do I trust God to be God? Is God good? Yes. We always say it. We talked about that all the time. God really is good. But C.S. Lewis said something that stuck with me. We're not necessarily doubting that God will do the best for us. We are wondering how painful the best will turn out to be in our lives. Is God good to me? Yes. Do a quick assessment of your life. The storms, the tough times, the rough times that you went through knowing that it wasn't by your own grace, your power, your own goodness. It was God. Do I trust God to be God? Can I suspend my preference for my will over God's will? Can I let God's will supersede my will and surrender my power to God? Move out the way. Faith doesn't mean trusting God that you'll never have a storm. Trusting God is knowing that God will come into that storm and walk you through that storm. And you'll have perfect inner peace. Will you join me in an affirmation? Perfect peace of spirit pervades my spirit, soul, and body. I am filled with peace, a peace that will remain with me forever. I am perfect in every good thing. Renaissance Unity, I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. So you might as well radiate love back to me, because I'm going to love you forever. And make sure that you get on the path to perfect peace. Thank you for having me this morning.